always talking about wanting to see signs of progress. Generally speaking, do you think you are seeing those signs of progress? And, after Sunday, even once the dust settles and you pick the bones out of that game, can you sort of see enough to think we are on the right path?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Clearly. As clear as you want it to be. 2020, definitely. 100%.
What gives you such optimism that you are?
Because of what I see. We're playing our football, we're measuring ourselves against the best. The players have got real belief in what we're doing. That's all I need to see.
You mentioned after the game on Sunday how you wanted some of the players to be a bit more like Cuti. I assumed you meant that in terms of sort of the fight and desire and hunger they show. Is that a concern for you that you're not seeing enough of that?
Well, we've only got one World Cup winner in the building, so, it takes a bit of time. And it's not about hunger or fight, it's just about a self-belief that Cuti has because of who he is and his journey up to now. And a lot of the others are just beginning that. But Cuti's had his painful moments in his career and he's learned to get through them and he showed the way forward on Sunday. So that's all I meant, that, some of it is just growth of individuals as people, which, again, you can't fast track. So, I thought Cuti he's been great for us all year, but, on Sunday he really sort of led by example.
Just one final one from me on a sort of slightly separate topic, but you'll probably seen that Sweden have rejected VAR coming into their league, and you've always been very clear in your thoughts on VAR.
I'm moving there.
Do you think, is that right? We've got a scoop there. You're going to take a job at Helsingborg.
I don't have a job, but I'm just...
Yeah, right, yeah. Do you think the ship has sailed here? Do you think it's too late to get rid of it altogether? And if it is here to stay, what specifically does need to change?
Yeah, no, it's here to stay. Absolutely, it's not going away. I'd change a hell of a lot on it, but again, I've said before that I think it's changed the game materially, which I don't think was the intention when it was brought in. And I watched the Champions League last night like everyone else did. If you hadn't have told me VAR was part of that game, I wouldn't have known. And I'm sure they had decisions to make, but it seemed to run pretty seamlessly. It just seems, like I said, we're, I don't know, we're trying to sort of pick the bones out of every little thing that happens in a football game at the moment, whether that's refereeing or any other part. And I don't like it. I've said it before because it's changed the game. It changed the game experience. It's a different game, whether you're involved or you're not involved. So in terms of an active participant or a spectator. But hopefully they'll find, the right sort of ground for it to work.
There does seem to at least be a recognition from PGMOL that it does need to be refined or be changed. If they were to reach out to Premier League managers and say, would you come and sit in a meeting room with us and tell us what you're supposed to do?
We already do that, mate. But I've said before, we're not the people that they need to consult with. We're not officials. They're officials. It's about them finding out what's the best decision-making process that's not going to affect the game. It's got nothing to do with managers. I manage a football team. I can tell them how to set up a team, but it's and you're always at odds in those kind of meetings anyway, because the referees always feel like they've done the right thing, and we as coaches always feel aggrieved. So that's the basic case. I mean, people telling me we're going to get explanation. What difference does that make? I thought we should have had a penalty on the weekend. Other people didn't think we should have had a penalty on the weekend. I wasn't still sure about Mickey van der Ven's offside, but other people say it is offside. So at the end of the day, who am I to sit in a room and tell officials how to do their job? They should know that. That is their job. As I keep saying, I wouldn't want to panel referees to be advising coaches how to manage a team.
Charlie.
Morning, Ange. In terms of your team news for tomorrow's game, how is Timo doing?
Yeah, no, not good. Unfortunately, he's sort of had a couple of issues from the game. Timo with his hamstring, obviously. So, we've only got 2.5 weeks to go, so he'll miss the rest of the season. And Ben Davis got a calf injury out of the game, and he'll probably miss the rest of the season as well. Everyone else is okay. Skippy should be back for this game, out of the ones who've been out.
In terms of Richarlison, do you feel he's fit enough to start the game at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, he's working back to fitness. I mean, he's missed a fair bit, so it was good to get him some game time. And whether that's tomorrow night or Sunday, obviously we've got 3 games this week, big games. So I'm sure Richie will play a significant part of that.
And in terms of the challenge of Chelsea tomorrow, obviously the reverse fixture, it was chaotic to say the least.
Yeah.
How do you feel your team have developed since that match, and how do you view how they might have developed since that game as well?
Yeah, like I said, for us, it's it's a constant sort of evolution of overcoming different challenges we've had since then. Fair to say, up until that point, we were in pretty good shape from a squad point of view, and we had a good rhythm of games. And since then, we've had some disruptions in many areas, and we've had to overcome those challenges. Some well, some not so well. So we've been. But for the most part, I think fairly consistently. And look, Chelsea. I mean, their recent form is very good. They've got some real talent in their group for sure. And Maurizio is an excellent manager. So, and I think irrespective of all of that, you're playing away from home. At their ground, it's a derby, London derby again. So you kind of know it's going to be a tough game, irrespective.
Yeah, you mentioned it being a London derby. It is one of the London derbies that the fans really care about. Do you sense from your players that there will be an element of revenge for what happened in that game?
Oh, I don't think so. Again, I've never bought into that revenge because, I mean, that would mean that you need some sort of other stimulation other than going out there and just trying to win a game of football. And I think every week that's what you've got to do. You understand the meaning of games, particularly, as a club or to our supporters, but I've always felt as footballers or managers or whoever we are, we shouldn't need extra motivation other than there's a game on and we want to win it.
George.
Angelo, I just wondered, James Maddison was so good for you at the start of the season, and he's come back to his injury. Is he still finding he's got to find his best form again as you approach the second half of the season? Yeah,
look, it's a challenge, but I mean, I reckon just about every player in the squad I've had that question about, and I think I've been pretty consistent in my answers that, we've had a very disruptive season. He's another one that's had disruption. Like the first 10 games, he played every game. He was going really well, and then obviously he picked up the injury, missed a lot of football, kind of come back. But at the same time, we've had challenges as a team where we haven't had real fluency in terms of cohesion, in terms of games, in terms of starting lineups. Just had to battle through that, like a lot of them. But that's part of the challenge. That's where, for us, as I keep saying, the fact that things haven't gone smoothly this year means you feel a bit of pain, but I think in the long term you create a stronger and more resilient group, and Matters is one of those guys. He's just got to fight his way out of it.
Ian. Hi, Ange, how are you?
I'm good, mate.
You mentioned earlier, 100% you've made progress. Is that seen by the fact that you're going to be finishing in a European place?
No, it's because of what I'm seeing every day and the football we're playing and the development of our players, and like I said, their belief in what we're trying to do. They're far more important to me than what position we are.
Sunday, set pieces were, I think, fair to say, the undoing during the game against Arsenal. Has that become a worry over the last few weeks, over the season, and something you'll be looking to address in the summer transfer window?
In the summer transfer window,
how you defend set pieces and maybe getting players in who can...
I think I've answered this question, and I don't think it satisfies people. But no, I don't see it as an issue. It's something we work on along with everything else in our game. There are far more important things we need to concentrate on at the moment in terms of the team we're building. But I think people want to believe that football is, and it can be, very prescriptive. You got an illness, here's the tablet, and you feel better. But I've never believed that. I've always been about trying to create an environment, style of football, and a squad that can win things. And I've never done it through a prescriptive manner, and I certainly won't be doing it now.
I guess your answer to that question kind of answers my next question as well.
That's good, so you don't have to ask it.
No, I do. I still need to ask it because otherwise my boss will say, "Why didn't you ask him the question?"
Go for it.
Only once in this calendar year have you led at half time in a game. 8 out of 15, you've been behind.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for a slow start, or maybe not quite the fast start that you would like Spurs to have, or the first half displays?
Again, I think, to be fair, I've had the whole gambit of it this year. If I was playing bingo, I would have called it a few weeks ago. We've conceded early, scored early, conceded late, scored late, had great starts, poor starts, set pieces good, set pieces bad, some good football. It's part of where we're at. But within that, I'll make it sound as if it's been a real struggle. I don't feel it's been a real struggle. I think I've still seen, as I said before, real belief in this group. Even on Sunday, at 3-0 down at half-time, game could have gone very easily a different way, but it didn't. And I love the spirit this group shows in the face of adversity, and all these things that people see as issues for us right now are not at the top of my list. At the top of my list is, like I said, creating an environment, a football team, and a style of football that will win us things, and we're on the way to doing that.